What's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This time it's something you might have heard about in the last couple of months. It's the HomePod, which has been only released in the States. I'm in Canada, so I got the exclusive of reviewing this thanks to my great friend Tyler. But first, let's start with a unboxing. Alright, so let's start with the bag. Apple actually gives us a special made bag just for the HomePod. So it's a square bag that fits perfectly with the box. It even has the Apple logo stamped. Alright, so the HomePod itself comes with a little shrink wrap. Don't mind me, this is not a real unboxing because it was already pre-unboxed before. Just wanted to do the whole thing with you guys. Once it's finally unwrapped, you have this box, this nice white box. In this case, it's the white HomePod. You just pull it off, exactly like an Airport Extreme base station, basically. So there you have it. The HomePod is right there, naked, nothing around it. And the only thing that you have to remove is actually the cable and the little protection on the screen on top. Let's start with the box. The box itself has nothing else in there except a couple informative paper, some stickers, of course. In this case, they're rounded, so it's pretty nice looking. No other accessories are included, no cable attachment, nothing. The power cable comes pre-attached with the HomePod. Alright, let's move on to the HomePod itself. Let's remove the little plastic film. So now we have access to the touchscreen where there's a plus and minus button. The cable itself is pre-attached and is also fabric wrapped. If you look at it on the sides, exactly identical on all sides. This little mesh is all around the HomePod and it feels very weird. It's like a sponge kind of thing, so you can see there's some depth to it. So it's not just a little fabric that is stretched around it, it's really a three-dimensional fabric. So now we have it, the long-awaited smart speaker from Apple. The HomePod is basically Among Us. Well, actually Among Us in the States, not in Canada, so it should really be released eventually in Canada, but still not the case for now. So if I take an iPhone to compare the size, here you can see the difference. It's basically just slightly taller than the iPhone 7 Plus, so to give you an idea. So what is the HomePod? The HomePod is basically a smart speaker, therefore it's a speaker, so it's mostly oriented to music players, so people who like to listen to music, good quality music, and it's also smart because they have a full iPhone component inside this little speaker, so it is able to run Siri like your iPhone normally does. Most of what you're used to on your phone is not available on the HomePod yet. For some of them, it also needs to rely on an iPhone in proximity. So it still is a device that has to be included in a larger set of computing device to function properly. So as a speaker, you basically have speakers all around it, subwoofer in the middle, sending basses upwards and downwards, and there's a special microphone just for the bass response to be sure that it's properly calibrated. On the speaker side itself, you only have a single control, which is basically this touchpad region here. So you have a plus and minus symbol. And also, if you tap in the middle, it starts to play, like so. So, and every time you move the speaker, there's an accelerometer integrated inside the speaker that recalibrates the sound because it knows that you moved it, and most probably you changed its location or you changed its room. Therefore, it needs to reconfigure the sound according to the new room you're in at the moment. In terms of power, this speaker can go quite high. The good thing is that no matter what level you set it, you can tap the button, you can tell, hey dingus, to basically reach a certain percentage of the volume. And in all cases, the sound is clear and pristine. So there's no overdrive at all. You don't hear any static, any overpowerness from the speaker trying to push more than it can. From 0 to 100, it's a good sound quality all the way. So that's a good thing for the speaker side of things. In terms of sound quality, this speaker is able to do a lot, meaning that it can do amazing sound with certain songs. And I say certain songs because over my experience with this one for a couple of weeks, it's not the best in terms of decision making on how a song should sound. what the HomePod does is for each and every song, it's going to try to calibrate the instruments and the frequencies to give you a good overall sound for this song. However, I don't think it's the best to discern exactly how a song should be set up. I've thrown like pop songs to it and it was amazing. I've thrown other older pop songs and it was very weird. And I've even tried like metal, Metallica, or even Dream Theater. In most of the cases, what happens is that it decides to put either the vocals in the back, therefore you don't really hear the vocals anymore, whereas the other instruments are way too amplified, or if there's a specific sequence where I know that there's a big thumping bass and that's the focus of the song, you don't get that at all. It for some reason decides that in this specific case, the guitars and the other instruments should be raised higher and the bass should be lowered for some reason. So it's not the best at discerning exactly how a song should sound, especially if you're used to this music. So if it's an album or an artist that you've been listening for like 10 to 20 or 30 years, after so many years, you know exactly how a sound should be reproduced. You know exactly that in this specific song, the bass part should be very trembling, should be very present, and afterwards the vocal should come out and then give you a good rounding sound of the music. But for some reason, not all the times, that's the worst part, because if it was all the times, I could say that the speaker is bad. But in this case, and what the HomePod does most of the time is that it decides to play with this balance and basically offer you a sound that is not what you're expected to. And when you've listened to the same song over cheap speakers like $2 earbuds all the way to 50 grand speaker set, you kind of know exactly how a certain song should sound. And sadly, this does not reproduce the sound properly. If only we had some EQ settings or some presets or a way to basically try to help the algorithm and telling it how to do its job better, it could eventually sound better. But in this case, this is a black box, well, actually white box. So it's a white box that you don't have any control on it. All you can do is volume up or down. So that's it. So I'm not gonna play any music for you on speakers because I've seen so many YouTube videos doing exactly that, and it doesn't matter because the speakers you have right now, if it's your earbuds or your phone speaker and my microphone, there's no way that all this together can catch the actual sound that this device is making. So I'm going to spare you that completely. In terms of smart feature, this device has a array of microphones all around it, so therefore it should be able to listen to you from anywhere in your house. I say in your house because it often picks me up when I'm on the second floor in the bathroom, so I don't know if it's the echo, if it's the way that the sound propagates in my house, but it's able to hear me most of the time, or at least hear the trigger words and start mumbling something. So understanding is another part. Is it because I'm French Canadian and I have an accent? Perhaps. I know with kids it's also worse. It also has problems to understand exactly queries. This is the same thing for Siri on your phone or your watch, so I'm guessing that it's probably linked to Siri itself and not the speaker, because this device has way more microphones than your phone or your watch. Therefore, you should be able to pick up much better sounding quality for your request. My experience with the request is quite opposite, if I may say. It either understands me way too well, where I'm actually surprised at the answer I get and at the success rate I get when I'm asking some very complex queries. But other times when I'm asking it something very simple, like a specific album or a specific song I know, for some reason it's gonna play me another song totally. Hey Siri, play Killing Me Softly by the Fugees.
Here's Killing Me Softly, Vanessa Michaels' X Moons redo, single by Moons.
So you see, I ask it for a very simple song. For some reason, it decides to give me a remix of some sort, which is far from the original in my opinion. And if I say, hey Siri, no, it's my phone.
I can't.
Hey Siri, play the best songs by the Fugees.
Here are the Fugees' best songs.
As you can see, the very first song from the playlist of the best song of this artist is the song I was requesting. So it understood me, but it decided that it wanted to play me a certain version of a song, whereas I know for sure that this is the song that I wanted. And in other cases where I ask for a specific song, I don't know if it's probably my accent, I'm guessing, because that's the only thing I can think of. It doesn't understand me, but if I ask it to play great songs by the same artist, it's always the first one, if not the second one. So it has all the knowledge of what's the most popular song, and there's quite a higher chance that I want one of the popular song if I ask for a certain song by an artist. So you can probably try to make a reasoning argument there and try to get the right one instead of something totally different by a bunch of artists or remixes or whatever. In terms of intents for smart applications, for example, I use it to add things to my to-do list. So the app is Things, so therefore I ask it to add something to my list in Things, and that works perfectly well. I can even like do more complex queries with dates and everything, and it's super interesting how it can handle that. Other things that are pretty weird is you cannot start a phone call from this device. You have to start it from your phone, and then you have to basically airplay the discussion to the speaker. It works well. The quality for the person at the other end is even better than a phone, because you can understand that this has many more microphones that are bigger and higher quality than your phone. Where it lacks some intelligence is in what I would say the asking general knowledge questions. You can ask it, for example, how old is this actor or this actress? But if you ask it something more complex like how old would Michael Jackson be today, you won't get the right answer. You'll get something weird asking you to either go on the internet or just a general failure that says that HomePod cannot give the answer right now. One thing that I found pretty weird is my phone was set up into English Canada, and the HomePod, being available only in the US, was set up to English US. And therefore, when I started to ask it questions and it needed the smarts from my phone for some reason, or maybe when I wanted to have access to my library of songs to try to understand my requests for music or better or whatever, it always gave me an error saying that I need to set up my phone in the same language as the HomePod. Therefore, I don't know if it's going to be the case when it comes out in Canada in a couple of months, but you basically need to have it set to the same language on both devices, or else Siri for some reason will not be able to understand your context for some queries. All in all, this is a very promising device. If you're any kind of audiophile, or if you're picky about your music, your song, or if you have, like me, a good ear that can discern badly reproduced music, if you ever compared two albums from the same artist, one being mixed very well and one being mixed quite poorly, and you can see a major difference, the way that this HomePod will decide which part of the song is more important to the ears and which one should be broadcasted more, it's going to get on your nerve, that's for sure. Especially if you listen to music that you've listened to all your life, which is basically my situation. If you're more of the kind of person that wants to set a playlist for, let's say, just an evening lunch or whatever, like an apartment speaker for basically just mood setting, that's perfect. It's clear enough, it's powerful enough. You can even crank up the volume when the night is getting a little bit younger, and then you can have a lot more fun with its requesting of songs. So even though it's not perfect, I know it's going to get better. You should never buy a product based on future promises. For example, AirPlay 2 was supposed to be shipped with this product. It did not do the cut. It's going to come at a future release. You should have also been able to pair two of these as a stereo pair in a room, but you actually can't do that right now. It's coming with AirPlay 2 in the future. So there's a bunch of features missing. It's for sure that Siri will probably get better. I don't know exactly to what extent. So as is right now, if you can speak English with no accents, you should probably be okay with this speaker. It should understand you properly. Let's just hope that when you request something very specific, that you know what you want, that it actually delivers on that request and not something out of the ordinary that it decides it's better for you per your request. Alright, that's it for the HomePod video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, thumbs up the video, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed for more videos in the coming weeks. Peace!